In this video, we're going to talk about previewing evidence. We're going to show you how to preview evidence and how to selectively import that evidence based on the information you obtained from the preview. It's a good way to deal with giant amounts of data where you're only going to want a small portion of it actually in the case. So let's hop into the tool and show you what I mean. Okay, so the previewing of data happens in the process data widget, and it's preview evidence right here. And you start basically, you kind of work your way down this left-hand panel with this right-hand panel being, if you will, the previewed information. So you start up here by adding evidence to preview. And let's go and find some evidence. And we're going to go ahead and do this demo case because I know it's got some email and things like that are pretty good. So let's go ahead now and preview the data. Now let me explain what's going on here. When you preview data, effectively what is happening is you are actually creating a case, a special kind of case that won't be shown anywhere else in the tool. And that's what's going on right now. Then you are processing the case, the evidence, with just a metadata extraction set, so sort of the simplest type of processing. And then you're displaying the resulting information. So you'll see it go through those steps. So first we were creating the case, that was the spinning wheel. Now we've submitted the evidence for processing, and this will sort of monitor our processing. And, depending on how much case in your machine will dictate how long this takes. I'm going to pause and just sort of re-engage every time something of significance happens. Okay, so it's moved from submitted to in progress. And every, I think, 15 seconds it updates, or maybe it's 5 seconds, but let's wait for our next update. Okay, so the next update actually was the final update. Well, actually, no, it's not still in progress, but it seems to have enumerated an awful lot of items. And no errors yet. So probably then the next update will have actual information to preview. All right, so we've got our preview information here on the right, and it shows us files by date. It shows us files by type. If we keep scrolling down, it shows us emails by sender and by recipient, and then email by date. So we can click on any one of these. Let's go ahead and click on TIFF. And we're just going to import the TIFFs. We've decided that's all we want. So now let's go to this next phase. So we're done with this top phase. Now we have the option of importing this data into an existing case or creating a new case. All our existing cases should be here. We're going to go ahead with the new case option, so just so you can see that. And we'll call it, let me click off of that. Let's call this video demo preview case. And then we need to pick a processing criteria, because what's going to happen is we're importing this data into a case. It needs to know how we want to process it, and for that I'm just going to choose our FTK options. Now, one thing interesting to note is that you're only processing 3,250 items, but you actually may end up with a lot more depending on how you processed here and how you're choosing to process here, because not everything gets expanded in the preview. So depending on your options, you may end up with a lot more objects than you initially thought you were going to get. So let's just go ahead and do that. Now what's happening is, again, we're creating another case. We're creating our video demo preview case. And then once our case is created, what's going to happen is we're going to shift into the mode of extracting the evidence from this case and putting it into a preview folder within this new case. And then once that step is done, we will then import that data or process that data actually into the case. So it's a multi-step process, which is why there are multiple grids here. Let's go ahead and refresh. Okay, great. And you can see that we have The item count is that, and the total items we've extracted is that. So we're still sort of in progress here. And again, I'll update when there's more to see. Okay, the export completed. And you can see there are the right number of items. Actually, at one point, there was something like 1 million items it showed here. I'm not really sure why it does that, but I've seen that before. Nonetheless, it ultimately compressed down to the correct number. It's something about how it expands the files. And this is completed, and now we're on to the evidence processing phase, where we're taking this evidence that we've exported and we're ingesting it into this case we created. Let's see where we are there. So we really haven't made any progress there. So while we wait for that to progress, I want to show you something here. We created this video demo preview case. In my system, my case folder is here in my C drive. Excuse me, no, it's in my D drive. Cases, and let's go down to that preview. What did we call it again? My memory's so bad. Video demo, sorry. Video demo preview case. Now when we open this, we should see this folder, this preview evidence. What that actually is that's the evidence that we just exported. If we were to drill down, we'd see that there's an 81 there, and in that 81 is going to be all the TIFFs that we're now processing. Another thing worth showing you is, while we're here, we've done a bunch of previews, and you can see these Quincy preview folders. Some of them are empty and some of them are full. Every 24 hours, it will come through and it will clean these up, and it will empty them. And I think in the latest version we actually removed the folder. I'm not sure. Maybe we don't. Maybe we're still just emptying the folders. Either way, you will see when you do preview evidence, you'll see these folders start popping up, and then a day later they'll be gone or they'll be empty. That's just the natural process of how Quincy does this preview evidence. So let's hop back in and see if we've made any progress. Okay, we have. It's in progress. It's enumerated. Again, more. That's not surprising at all to me, in fact, because I would expect the folder structure to give me quite a lot more items than the 33,250. These are actually the files, but they're going to come out with their full path, and each path is going to be a folder. So this doesn't surprise me. So again, I'll resume when there's something more interesting to talk about. Okay, we can see we've actually made it halfway through the case. We've enumerated all our items. We've processed about half of them, indexed about half of them. So halfway through, I'll let you know when we're done. Okay, our processing has completed. And now, just for the sake of completeness, let's log into this case, which again we call video demo preview case. And if everything worked out well, we should have a grid filled with items. What was it? 3,800 something items, all of which are TIFFs or folders. So we have 251, but I have several default filters. So I bet you if I remove this, I'm going to get what I need. Let me refresh this. There you go, bingo. So TIFFs and folders as we expected. Anyway, that's all I have for preview of evidence. Hopefully this is a powerful feature for you to get an idea of what you're about to ingest or selectively ingest. Anyway, that was all I wanted to show you. Thank you very much.